What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
You want healthy children. Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes. Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected, President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much. Having been concluded pursuant to Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 2, the 119th Congress, the chair declares this joint session dissolved.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Oh, yes, we're going to win more, a lot more. Those of you who are here for the actual gaveling in of President-elect Donald Trump, it was absolutely delicious watching them go from state to state to state and realizing as they were reading her name, the only states that read her name were the ones that don't have any ID. And I'm not going to touch that because, believe it or not, they already sanctioned my earlier video because I played the video of Trump telling everybody to disperse, you know, the one that they just took down. So I'm going to be very careful. We're still in hostile territory here. But nonetheless, we're winning. We are winning. Real quick housekeeping note. The link for the hoodies is now working again. Much better than my voice. So go to fanfareshop.org to register for a hoodie. So hopefully I can make it through this show, because I've already done 2. I did the interview with Tim Ballard, which will play tonight at 7:30, only on Rumble and X. And then we've got this show today, and we had the earlier show. So 3 shows today. So let's continue with today's show. Those of you guys who were here early knew there were some different things that happened. One of those things that happened that's pretty big, actually. Let's talk about that.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
So just go ahead and put this in perspective. Donald Trump wins the election on November 5th. Shortly thereafter, he tells Mexico and Canada, I'm coming for you. I'm going to slap these tariffs on you guys if you don't get your acts together. Now, a little over 60 days later, or just about 60 days, this one, Trudeau's like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this. That to me is just more continued winning. I didn't expect that Justin Trudeau was going to just throw up the white flag and take off. But hey, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Hopefully Canada can be liberated. Now, earlier, I had posted this so you guys could see it. Let me just, for those of you who weren't here earlier, let me just show it to you again. Trump wrote, many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The dude's a troll, absolute troll. One of the best epic trollers. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure, protected from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. I thought he was kidding. When I read that, I'm like, I think Trump is kidding. I think he's just poking at them. Then as I started looking around, I realized he's serious. You guys know the other joke out there was that he wanted to buy Greenland. That's no longer a joke either. He has said much about Mexico. He's talked about Panama taking over the Panama Canal. And everyone's kind of like, hey, he's not kidding. No, he's not kidding. He's not kidding. If there's a way to make it happen, to purchase Greenland, he's going to do it. If there's a way to annex Canada, which I have no idea how that could happen. I am not that politically savvy to know how Canada would become a part of the United States. But he's not kidding. And I thought to myself, if Trump is making these kind of bold statements, means he's thought about it for quite some time. It means that in his thinking, one of the ways to truly make America as great as possible would be to get Greenland and all the minerals and stuff that they have up there, and then of course Canada. Now obviously there's a chess match going on in Washington. Biden is trying to block anything that Trump wants to do. But all of you know, Canada has a ton of oil. So I wouldn't be surprised, depending on who gets voted into Canada, for those talks actually to continue, to be a part of the United States. I couldn't even imagine. If this is true, which nobody ever talks about, if it's true that Canada financially can't stay afloat, as he says here, the United States can no longer suffer massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. If Canada needs the United States subsidies to be an independent country, then they're no longer an independent country. It's pretty simple. If you turn off the spigot and they can't survive, they're going to have to do something. And so it got me thinking, Mary, yes, this could really happen. This could actually happen. I don't know how the Canadians would feel about it. They're going to have to voice their opinion. But everybody needs to lay the cards on the table. How are you going to survive if we turn off the spigot? And then how will you survive if we welcome you in? It's a massive proposal. Absolutely massive proposal. I'm looking at what some of you guys are saying. They should join us. Your choice, Canada. Join America or fail as a country. Imagine that. Now, if he also, as you saw in that piece, as he was talking about that, is that other part true? Where he says, currently, they are under the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. There's a whole lot of stuff he's got packed into here that I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't dug into. I haven't known that Russian and Chinese ships or subs have constantly been surrounding Canada. Never knew that. I guess we're going to have to find out. Is that true? Are you guys constantly under threat? Are we having to be Big Brother anyway? Are we having to protect Canada and subsidize them? I don't know where you come from, but if I'm paying for you and I'm protecting you, then you're pretty much my responsibility, and I want it. I'm not just going to keep doling out money and doling out protection so that you guys can exist and call yourself independent, and you're not. From that one Truth Social post, Trump is showing he's got hand. The old George Costanza thing. He's got hand. If you've got that kind of leverage over an entire country, daddy's home, and you're not getting any more allowances. Nope. Go clean your room. Go do something. Trump is letting Canada know without any uncertainty, I'm not paying for you anymore. You're on your own. Or we can talk about it. And I'm thinking, man, that's a chess move, 4D, 5D chess. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I would have never, ever conceived that Canada could be a state of the United States or a territory. Now, how far-fetched is this? I don't know if you can get it done in the next 4 years. I don't know. But I love the thinking, the largesse. The man is thinking out here. We're going to take over the Panama Canal. We're going to take it back. We're going to take over Canada. We're going to take over Greenland. World leaders have to be sitting back and going, is this guy serious? Remember what Zelensky said? I played that tape the other day. Hey man, I think we're going to have to end this war. World leaders are asking Zelensky, have you talked to this dude? Yeah, I talked to him. What did he say? He said, I better get right. We weren't hearing this from world leaders a couple of months ago. Let me see if I can find that really quick. If I can find that, I want you to hear this because it's another thing. Yeah. Did I find it here? Yeah, I found it here. I want you to hear this again, and I want you to listen to what he says in regards to Trump telling him you need to fix this. Listen to this.
It won't be long because Europe will be looking at us and we'll be looking at Trump. And by the way, I now see that when I talk about something with Donald Trump, whether we meet in person or we just have a call, all the European leaders always ask, how was it? This shows the influence of Donald Trump. And this has never happened before. With an American president, I tell you from my experience, this also gives you confidence, that he can stop this war.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
That is a byproduct of something else somebody hadn't thought of. He's been saying it all along. As soon as I get in, we're stopping this thing. You guys cut it out. No more. No more money. You, Vlad, chill. Zelensky, little guy, stop asking for money. So here we are, 14 days before Trump even takes office. And we've got world leaders seemingly, if not in panic, in some sort of disarray. Trudeau, I'm out. Mexico, I'll try to see what I can do about this border thing. Panama, I don't want you to take it over, but we couldn't stop you if you wanted it. Greenland, there's a big article yesterday about Greenland having non-buyer's remorse. Well, we should have done a deal before. And then, of course, you just saw Zelensky. Yeah, they're calling me, man. Is this dude serious? No, he's really serious. And what did he say right after that? That's never happened. So if these world leaders are coalescing and talking behind the scenes, what are we going to do? What do we do about this guy who's coming in and he's really going to take a baseball bat to us? Get in line or not. To me, that says a hell of a lot as to where Trump wants to put America in the grand scheme of things. And he left that, hasn't posted about Canada since then, but he is serious. That's what I wanted to convey with this. I don't know if it's possible, But the fact that he's putting these things out there lets you know this man is completely serious. We will also take Mexico. Do we want Mexico? Oil on Greenland. I'm understanding it's not so much oil in Greenland, or it's the minerals that Greenland has. Would the Canadian province each become states? I don't even know how that would work. Because once the national government decide to dissolve, I would think it'd be up for us to decide what the states are. At that point, Trump and whoever would be the ones stepping in. Would other countries object? Probably. What are you going to do? It's crazy. It can, just like Puerto Rico. And we don't want Mexico. You keep Mexico. Trillions, SV says, in minerals in Greenland. SV has done a lot of research on what Greenland has to offer. And trillions is the term. Thank you, Pray Robin is feeling better. She's actually feeling better than I am. She can actually talk better. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We don't feel bad other than my voice, and we'll try to get through. The closest thing I'm getting to Mexico is Taco Bell. Oil is an asset that produces cash flow. So when Biden stepped in and he stopped the pipeline in Canada from coming through the United States, he actually hurt Canada. Justin Trudeau, at that point, with all the liberal stuff that they want to do and climate, blah, 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 they killed themselves. And Trump knows this. To talk about having a negotiation point. So talking about oil, let's move on to the next thing, what Biden has done, which is, I hope Trump can basically get this thing taken care of without having to go through a lot of court battles.
And President Biden announcing an executive order that permanently bans new offshore drilling along most of the U.S. coastline. The executive order is drafted in a way that would make it harder for incoming President Trump to reverse.
I don't know how our government has allowed any order, not a law, any executive order, to be put in place by one president and then to be deemed permanent from any other president doing something else. To me, that seems ludicrous. How in the hell can Joe Biden step in and go, you know what, we're not drilling anywhere over here ever? What? And no other president can ever drill.
Daniel Turner, founder and executive director of energy advocacy organization Power the Future, joins me now. What's the scope and scale of this executive order that Biden is putting forward?
Yeah, this is pretty big, considering that about 15% of our oil and gas comes from offshore. That's going to make it really hard to get this drill, baby, drill agenda, which President Trump has pushed. And the way it's crafted, as you mentioned, it's going to be really hard to overturn. I'm sure Trump will, but then it will immediately get thrown into the courts. And Biden has appointed 250 or so judges. And so it will be in a favorable court. And this will give environmental groups a lot of fodder to raise money and to do their activism.
What he should do is take this directly to the Supreme Court. Skip all those little courts. Just say this is a matter of national security, and then question Biden's authority and his cognitive ability and take it to the Supreme Court. Make it an issue of national security taken by an incompetent president who is afflicted. I think there'd be enough information there to say, hey, listen, we can't do this. We can't have this guy who can't fix his own Maypo, can't tie his shoes, telling the entire country forever that you can't drill off the coast. If we can't drill, it is a matter of national security, period. Which means by itself, I don't know what other acts of war or whatever, but bring it right to the Supreme Court and have this thing stopped. Don't even play the game. I think that's where Trump is headed.
Countries around the world are going in the opposite direction. Let's just put up a map here for everybody to see. These are the countries, Saudi, United Kingdom, Norway, and Brazil, for example, who are expanding their offshore drilling. Why would we decide to pull back?
Well, and that's the crazy thing. China is operating in the Gulf of Mexico. The world's largest offshore oil platform is operated by China in the Gulf of Mexico. It's in.
Say what, Joe? Joe, you're telling me you basically gave the Gulf of Mexico to China? You're telling us as Americans we can't use the oil in the Gulf of Mexico, but China can? I think there's a word that begins with T. You sold us out again, is what you're saying. Somebody behind the scenes is completely beholden to China. Did you realize that China has the biggest oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico? So you're telling China, don't worry about it, you get everything. I'm going to make sure that Trump and his people can't drill anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico. You get it all. Put as many out there as you want. You're not going to have any competition from America. That's got to be treasonous.
International waters. Russia and Norway are operating in the Arctic. And so Joe Biden is saying to Alaskans, you can't operate in the Arctic. He's saying to Texans and Louisianans, you can't operate in the Gulf. But in this case, Russia and China, our enemies are. They are tapping into oil and gas reserves that are basically in America's back pocket. So it's insanity. It really is. And you have to question if anyone listening thinks, well, this is to protect the earth. If this were really about the environment, why did it take 4 years, right? We saw during COVID when Biden administration thought they had the solution, you had to take it, regardless of whether or not you wanted
the environment. If it was about the environment, China wouldn't be doing it. You wouldn't want that so close to the American soil. So it's all BS. It is specifically to attack Trump, specifically to injure America. There are no other reasons. Climate, F your climate. I'm done with you nut jobs. And watching everybody else in the world laugh at us because we got nuts over here talking about, my climate. Yeah, you got the nuts over there, but you know what? They're not stupid enough to stop drilling.
The mask or the vaccine, it was obligatory. If this was really medicine to cure the planet, why did it take the administration 4 years to implement it? So this is just pure politics at its worst.
Got to get things done. We don't get them done. I see it just came over that Biden has banned all oil and gas drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. coastal territory. It's ridiculous. I'll unban it immediately. I will unban it. I have the right to unban it immediately. What's he doing? Why is he doing it? We have something that nobody else has. I mean, nobody has to the extent we have it, and it'll be more by the time we finish because I'll be able to expand. We're going to expand our country, and it'll be more. We have oil and gas.
Did you hear what he said? Did you catch what Trump said? He did not say expand oil reserves. He goes, you're never going to expand our country. What? How do you expand the country? There's no islands off of any of the coast. There's no volcanoes spitting up soil. How are you going to expand the country? Oh, that's right. You want to take over Canada. He's not joking. He just said it again. I'm going to expand the country. Oh, no, I didn't know that. I heard you talking about it, bro. I didn't know you actually meant that. Yeah, we're going to expand the country. Not my words, his words. He just said it. I'm going to let you hear that again in case that went by a little bit too fast for you. Listen to what he says here, okay?
Doing it. We have something that nobody else has. I mean, nobody has to the extent we have it, and it'll be more by the time we finish because I'll be able to expand. We're going to expand our country.
I hope that shocked you like it shocked me. I was like, whoa, hey, D, let's talk, bro. You got something planned that we didn't know anything about. And then acted like, hey, y'all know this, right? I'm just going to expand this. That's why I opened with that. The man is serious. He's not playing. I don't know who he's discussed it with. I don't know how deep involved he's gone with this. But he just said, again, you know that's happening, right? You know I'm expanding the country. Well, California and the wet East Coast, there's nothing to stretch. And there's nothing below Florida to stretch. There's a lot of room up there to stretch, though. There's a lot of room up there to expand up north. And you know I'm going to expand the country, just so you know.
And it'll be more. We have oil and gas, and whether you manufacture widgets or gadgets or whatever you happen to be doing, some countries have to work very hard to do that. We do too, and we will. But we have oil and gas at a level that nobody else has, and we're going to take advantage of it. And when I see somebody saying he's going to ban 625 million acres, he doesn't know what that is. He doesn't even know what 625 million acres would look like. And we can't let that happen to our country. It's really our greatest economic asset. And we're not going to let that happen to our country.
So in essence, what he is saying, it's national security. We're not going to let it happen. Somebody had wrote something in here in the comments and said, by saying something's permanent, you're saying that the current president has more power than the succeeding president. That can't possibly stand. There's no way that our Constitution has something in it where a current president can basically make something permanent to a succeeding president. I hope not. I really hope not. He doesn't expand, dig. God protect America. President Trump is serious about Canada. Old Joe can't touch it. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that this man was serious about Canada in that regard. What the country needs is order, perfect order, and that demands practical science and math. Trump sounds like he has a bad cold. Don't we all right now? See, it's the change of temperature. It always gets me. I don't know where he's been. I know he's been down here at Mar-a-Lago, but he's also been traveling. That change of temperature going from like 80 degrees to like 20 degrees always gets me. Always gets me. Especially a president that's out in 2 weeks. Yep. Barry, remember the meeting at Mar-a-Lago with Trump and then Trudeau? That was in the works. Yeah, it seems like it may have been. Crazy. FJB. I got you. Yes, Congress writes legislation, so it can't be law. He's using some very obscure law to try and put it in place. Here's what the deal is. It's pretty simple to understand what they're trying to do. Biden writes this thing, hey, you can't do this. Trump says, screw you, I'm doing it. So, of course, the next step is all the Democrats run to every court they possibly can to tie it up in court. The longer it's tied up in court, the longer it takes for Trump to do anything. Hopefully gas prices for them go up so they can blame it on Trump, because the idiots don't pay attention to what Biden's doing right now. And then 3 years later, when the court finally declares, oh yeah, Trump was right, it's too late. They've done screwed up the economy. So, whatever happens, since there's no, how can they say, what's the word here? There's no immediate damage done. I would have to believe a judge, a reasonable judge, would stay this and say, nope, we'll play it through the courts, but in the interim, go ahead and drill. Because there's nobody who's going to be damaged by the drilling taking place. You understand what I mean by that? Because what I'm saying is an injunction, which is basically what a court would say is, hey, you can't do this until the court case comes out. During that period of time, if somebody were to be hurt, and I mean financially or otherwise, during that period, they'll possibly grant the injunction. But this would be better for the country, except for the climate nuts. Biden isn't smart enough to write anything like this. Absolutely. Where was that? The evil left is poisoning our air, water, and food, and God will fix us all now. So in addition to that, in addition to his edict that he's putting forward on everybody for oil, Trump came out today with a list of the things that Biden is doing to basically destroy America. So let's take a look at this stuff here, because it's pretty crazy what Biden is trying to do. And maybe some of you guys have seen this, and maybe some of you haven't. Today, crooked Joe Biden is determined to disgrace himself as much as possible for the exit in just 2 weeks. In the waning days of his lame duck presidency, Biden has aided killers, hosed the taxpayers, and done everything in his power to make life more difficult for everyday Americans. So much for a peaceful transition. That's all a ruse. Number one, Biden is banning certain natural gas heaters as part of his deranged climate extremism, a move experts say will jack up energy costs for low-income and senior households. Never mind half the people who live up north. Wants to make gas water heaters illegal. My dad was in construction, started off in plumbing up in Connecticut, and having gas water heaters was a central part of heating water up north. Now Biden wants to ban gas heaters. Biden banned offshore oil and gas drilling on 625 million acres of U.S. oceans right after voters gave President Trump a popular vote mandate to increase drilling and lower gas prices. So he's working in counter to the best interest of what the American people voted for. The equivalent of sticking it in their face and saying, too bad, I lost, we lost, we're going to do whatever we want. Biden removed, you can read that, I can't say it, and an unprecedented move that was slammed by victims' families, but ensuring his degenerate son received special treatment. Biden awarded the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, to far-left activists such as George Soros, who has spent billions destroying the fabric of America as Democrats' biggest donor and is responsible for left-wing district attorneys allowing violent crime throughout the country. He didn't mention Hillary and a couple other people that he gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom, including Liz Cheney. Biden is considering preemptive pardons to shield certain corrupt Democrats from accountability. Can't wait till that. Can't wait to see who he's giving these pardons to. I can't even imagine. That would it's going to be shocking. Be ready for it. Biden is melting down in front of reporters. If you haven't seen the video, where he just goes off on a swearing tirade on the reporters. Biden is bilking the taxpayers out of as much vacation as possible, flying here and there on Air Force One for no reason whatsoever. At every turn, says Politico's Jonathan Martin, Biden has taken the path of the most indulgent turn for himself. Of course, Biden has always been an angry, bitter individual whose selfishness is outmatched only by a delusional sense of self-importance. Mercifully, the national nightmare comes to an end in just 2 weeks, and the golden age of America will finally be upon us. That's not a peaceful transition. That's somebody who's really trying to stick it to us. And the Democrats, just so you know, they are not going to go quietly. There is going to be more and more strife that we're going to have to deal with. So let's continue.
Believe in their ideology. It's about being anti-Trump, not pro-America. But that's all going to change on January 20th, rest assured.
So Republicans could actually pass it as part of a reconciliation bill and reverse it. But in the meantime, look for it to get tied up in court.
Wow. So this is his legacy he wants to leave behind. Meanwhile, groceries are so expensive. Inflation went up underneath him because he closed down the pipelines immediately. And now he wants to do this. It's going to hurt the oil industry. It's going to bring prices probably even higher, right? Wouldn't it?
Well, no, he wouldn't.
Makes it harder.
Well, put it this way. It's an executive order which can be quickly overturned and unwritten. I mean, he just put that on his stack just like that was on his.
But that's not how it works. They are going to sue. Yes, Trump on day one could do away with that. But I guarantee you what's going to happen. As soon as Trump says, yeah, cancel that, the Democrats are going to be sprinting to the closest friendly court they can to stop Trump. They are going to be doing everything they possibly can do to do everything to impede the progress of America. The so-called progressive left is anything but. They want to put you back in the Stone Age. Somebody asked here, Barry, is a Medal of Freedom a pardon? No. It's just the highest civilian honor, I believe. For some reason, he decided to give it to a bunch of nuts. Stuff like this should not be allowed to happen. There needs to be measures as to make sure this never happens again. One thing that would be the easiest fix for all of this would be on the day the election is over, November 5th. Move the certification up to like November 10th, and on November 15th, the new guy gets in. I know that's a constitutional amendment. It'll never happen. They'll never agree to it, and so we're stuck with this. Stuck with this lame duck dead period between November 5th and January 20th, where there's a 2-month window where a pissed off party can just wreak havoc on America. It doesn't make any sense. It definitely is incompetence, but it's worse. I think they're trying to hurt America. Everybody would benefit from cheaper gas. Everybody, your grocery prices would go down. Your transport of all your goods and services, everything goes down. And they look at America and they're turning around and going, nope, we're going to let China do it. You can't. And then when you go ahead and overturn it, we're going to take it to court and see if we can't, make this just as painful as possible.
Joe Biden had that huge stack of executive orders when he came there. But I would say this, if the President of the United States really cares about the Ukraine-Russia war, he would be providing the natural gas and oil to the West that allows them to stay off Russian gas and oil, allows Japan to get natural gas and not buy from Russia. So you can, in one hand, as usual, the worst foreign policy in history, on one hand, give them arms, slow walking them, and at the same time, get rid of oil and gas drilling or diminish it because it makes makes prices go up, number one. Number two, makes security greater at risk for our allies.
Well, it also goes to the point, from a public standpoint, PR standpoint, the administration is saying we're cooperating with the transition, right? I'm getting along with the president-elect. But they're trying to put roadblocks every opportunity they get. Social security, too. They did the same thing with...
See, the problem with what they're doing are too many people, how do I say this nicely, are stupid. Too many people are ignorant. They don't even know this is happening. They're not paying attention. In fact, I bet you wouldn't see this on most of the other channels. I don't mean YouTube, I mean like television broadcast channels. They're not going to tell you that Biden is trying to stop drilling. No. Unless you're watching Fox, which most of the rubes wouldn't be watching anyway, they're not going to be told. No one's going to know that he's trying to do all these things to impede Americans. That's where you come in. That's where you now need to spread this and go, the Democrats are trying to hurt Americans. There have to be enough understanding, knowledgeable Democrats out there, which we know there are. Let me take a step back here. We know that to be true because the tent has grown. Many blacks, many Hispanics, many people are now voting for MAGA or Trump who didn't before. So now they need to be told, hey, listen, here's what the people you used to support, here's what they're doing. That's why, you know, on the bottom of my lower third, I was like, yeah, no, you got to keep fighting. This is where we need you to be engaged. This is where we need you to get out there and continue to talk about this. They're not going to hear it. If they're tuning in to MSNBC or CNN or NBC or CBS, it's not going to be talked about. You have to do the same thing you did to get these people to vote on November 5th for Trump. Forget all the crap about X and everything else everyone's bitching about. Forget about the H-1B. H-1B is small potatoes compared to not being able to drill. That's why the whole time, you know, a week ago, I was like, dude, that is such a small issue. And now you're starting to see the bigger issues emerge. Oh yeah, there's going to be some people here from other countries that, you know, are going to be working at a tech company. And over here you got a guy saying, I'm not going to allow anyone to drill offshore. Kind of makes that first issue kind of look stupid, doesn't it? You need to get out there and say, okay, hold on about that. We'll take care of that eventually. Right now I need to hear more about this. And you got to do it. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's absolutely crazy at this point. Let me just show you this. Where are we? Where was this? I thought I had something else here. So in any event, let me go back to that. You guys have got to begin talking about this. Oh, by the way, I'm looking at what caught my eye. There's a breaking news thing on top of ABC News. And it says the first bird flu victim has died in America. They got stuff planned for us, people. Do not comply. Be ready. Here it comes. It's going to be all over the news 24/7. It's at the very top of the page here. Let me just show it to you. I'm going to have to shrink it down so you can see it, but it's at the very top of the page. And there it is. Because I may not be able to talk about it, but there it is. Breaking. The first death in the U.S. Right, imagine that. Just on the day that Trump gets certified, man, what are we going to do about that flu? We may have to quarantine people. We may have to do this. We may have to do that. Y'all can save that. I'm pretty sure most of you feel the same way. Exactly, Gina. No compliance. Do not comply. This is not going to end well for them. They got 14 days to raise havoc. We got to stick together. Don't be dissuaded or distracted by the crap. All of a sudden, here we go. What about the drones? Would they have some kind of payload? Who knows? You know, who knows what's going on? I would love for Trump. I don't know if he controls it. I don't know who controls where inaugurations take place. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it in Washington out in the open like that. Nope, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, they want you gone. I will not. I know there's so many of you are like, we ain't doing it, man. Ain't gonna do it again. I got a cold right now. Trump sounds like he has a cold. I'll get over it. My antibodies are okay. My immune system is strong. Were they hit by a car? Oh, bird strike. Oh, yeah. I'm back from Wally World. I was noticing lots of people breaking out masks. Yep, it's coming. Here it comes. So you got the current president trying to do everything they possibly can to make y'all not be able to drill, to make you potentially have to lock down or wear a mask or whatever. It started last weekend, by the way. I don't know if you realize that, but 5 or 6 states started with that crap. Let me see if I can find. I had put up a tweet about that. And people were telling me, let me see if I can find this real quick. Where is it? But just so you know, I think it's like six or seven states decided that they were going to basically tell people that they oh, here it is, right here. Boom. California, Illinois, Indiana, New Jersey, New York, and Wisconsin are all bringing back the face diaper. And my question is, do illegals have to wear, or newcomers have to wear them? Do they prevent newcomers and crazies from lighting you on fire or pushing you in front of a train? And there it is. There it is. All right. Slowly putting these things in place. Slowly letting people know, here's where we're going. Oh, you gotta wear the face diaper. Gotta put it on. I'm so done with this. Somebody says, Diana says, I'm so done with it. 2 weeks. Probably the most critical 2 weeks we've had over the last 4 years. This is what they're going to try and do to you and me to make us comply over the next 14 days, and it's anything but peaceful. They're smiling in your face while they're sticking a face diaper on you. It's telling you can't drill and China can. And again, like people have said, what's going on with the drones? I don't know.
The border wall. It was because a border agent tipped off the president-elect that they were selling off pieces of the border wall. I mean, every opportunity they're getting to put some type of barrier in place to make it harder for the transition, they're doing. And I just don't think you can on one hand say, hey, I'm cooperating, but behind the scenes, you're telling your liberal allies, look, we're going to put some type of guardrails. And I think they're doing it the same way with the agencies as well, trying to get the career people to stay in, say, resist Trump when he put his people
Trump
in.
will find a way to 100%.
You see, what they're doing is a very covert way of doing all this stuff. The way they're trying to do it, SV is texting me, is that people won't know it's happening. So it's not going to be just a broad, in-your-face type fight. They're going to try and do everything they can behind the scenes. So it looks like we're all doing well. Roaring is Ohio. Tommy's in Alabama. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Yep. Where is this? So I can... he said... I can't even show it, but now he just sent me something that said... the patient, the CDC confirms it has mutated after the first death in Louisiana. The patient, one of 66 confirmed cases nationwide, shows genetic changes in the, I can't even read it, but they're showing it all over the country. Let me see if I can find this. I'll let you guys see it, but I can't read it because they would shut me down. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so got it. This is literally as we were speaking. This happened at 4:18, so just a little while ago. Let me bring this up and show you this. You can read it yourself. Funny how these things happen, huh? Has it mutated all of a sudden? The patient, one of 66 confirmed nationwide. Genetic changes, huh? Just happened 2 weeks before Trump takes office. Unreal. And if I go back here, I could probably do the map. They show a map here. I don't want to really show the video. Where is it? Okay. Yikes. Yikes. I mean, we're what, a couple hours after the certification and this drops? I've told you many times, there are no coincidences. It's just stuff you don't know yet. And so, dutifully, the media now comes out and says, hey, look what's happening. Now y'all know. This isn't a peaceful transition at all. We are basically at war. It's just a covert type of war. You can see it. Jabs for me. Yeah, so convenient, right? Just understand that. This is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing this to basically do everything they can to either handcuff him on January 20th or who knows what they may try.
We will.
And make it advantageous for his voters.
Yeah. I guess we're going to see it happen also. Social Security. Everyone thinks Social Security should be saved. But if you upgrade the amount of payments, you're accelerating the demise of the program. That's what he did over the weekend.
Well, given the fact that Donald Trump will be sworn in 2 weeks from today, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a press conference in the next day or two, and I bet he addresses what Joe Biden just did.
So, I think he's right. I think at this point, with everything that's going on, that Trump has to have a press conference. Maybe all these colds are from the fogs. Yeah, get some of that stuff. But you guys just be ready here. I know other people feel like I do, and that's what I think they better be careful. I'm just an old, calm guitar player. Yeah, you and Tommy Radcliffe both. So you can see what's beginning to happen. All right, so our next story, and this one is kind of, it ticked me off to no end. You guys know about this Judge Merchant, and how Judge Merchant now is going to sentence Trump on Thursday, January 10th. Who knows what kind of sentence he is going to try and do, but it looks as though at this point Trump is going to try everything he can to stop that sentencing from happening. This is what I got for you in this regard. Let me just pull it up so you guys can see this. All right. Trump has asked the judge to halt the sentencing in his criminal hush money case. He was supposed to do it Friday in New York City. President-elect Donald Trump on Monday asked the judge overseeing Merchant to halt his sentence in the case currently set for Friday. And the reason why he's doing it, he says in a court filing, Merchant will lack authority to proceed because Trump is still appealing Merchant's earlier ruling that the Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision does not apply to the New York hush money case, forcing a president to continue to defend a criminal case, potentially through trial or even more dramatically here, through sentencing and judgment, while the appellate courts are still grappling with the claim, in fact, forced that president to answer his conduct in court before his claim of immunity is finally adjudicated. So, what they're trying to do is basically nothing more than to give the media for the next 2 weeks or shortly thereafter the ability to continue to say everything that, Trump's a convicted felon. There's no other reason to be pushing this. Merchant is being told, get out there, sentence him, do whatever you need to do so we can hang that label on him for the next couple weeks and thereafter. Again, this is anything but a peaceful transition. It's not happening. Don't let anyone try to convince you and say that, it's peaceful. I'll be right back. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time. And although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. I had asked the people at Lear, what do we do now after the election is and Trump gets sworn in? And then I started doing my own digging, as I'm showing you, and going, we're still in a really, really precarious time right now. There is a lot of stuff going on. Most of the stuff people don't know about. You're not hearing about it, but you better be protected. If you can buy some gold or silver, fine, do that. Start canning some food. I don't know what these people are capable of. Actually, we kind of saw it before. It's not as much as we're pumped that things got certified today. I don't know about you, but I almost felt it went too easy. I mean, did anybody else feel that? And like, hey man, this was really simple. Are they setting us up for something? Because that went really easy. And with all the votes counted, Trump is the sir. Not one. Nobody yelled from the audience? No. Not a single person complained or protested? No. So it's just, that's it. He's certified, no big deal, and you're going to move on with your peaceful transition? Yep. I ain't buying it. I am not buying it. So, I don't know, but I'm telling you, for the next 2 weeks or so, keep your head on a swivel. Something just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just don't trust these people. That could be it. But this whole thing with the Cybertruck blowing up, and, you know, the other thing that we can't talk about this stuff either. And, you know, it's news. It's actually happening. But shh, don't talk about it. Just make it go away. Just doesn't sit with me. Somebody's like, they're definitely up to something. Yeah, they're definitely agree, Barry. It just went. I'm sorry, my voice is just about at the end. After everything we've seen these people do for the last 4+ years, today just went too easy. Much too easy. To the point where I'm just telling you, keep your eyes open. Definitely keep your eyes open. Everybody else talks about you, Barry. I hope that's a good thing. Yeah, it's too quiet. I've had my eyes open since 2020. It's very true. No, I don't have any nausea. I'm not going to throw up. I just coughing once I talk through my voice. So I may have to move into the next section. Yeah, it might be a setup. Just please be careful. Be careful for at least the next couple weeks. I told you I read a text I got from a deputy sheriff, a friend of mine, who's like, don't go anywhere where crowds are. But I'm like, dude, Notre Dame plays down here in the Orange Bowl on Thursday. Don't do it. So I'll be watching it on television. Just stay away from crowds. Do what you need to do. Live your life. But just keep your head on a swivel. I don't trust these people. We can never trust them. The Lord God knows what they are up to. Pray that he will take whatever plans they have down in the name of Jesus. Right now Biden is a national security risk. Yep. The calm before the storm. And, this is when people call us conspiracy theorists. I don't think there's anything wrong with planning, whether it's financially, with gold and silver, whether it's with food, storing, making sure you've got some canned goods or fruit or vegetables, whatever. Making sure your freezer is filled up with meat and you've got some alternative source of power. I don't trust that. We saw a guy drive through somehow a road that was supposed to have barriers. So I drive by as I was going up and down 95, power plants and power poles everywhere. There's no way we can guard all the power grids. Can't happen. Especially since they're not even doing it. Now, I don't know if DeSantis is thinking, you know what, down here we're going to go ahead and put out the national. I don't know. I just know there's 20 million people that we don't know who the hell they are wandering around here, and we don't know what they're doing or what they're capable of at all. Just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. With your family, your property, everything, because I think these people are crazy. I think it's only going to get worse. So let's move into the second part of the show, which is the 10.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Scott, in a political sense, is it how we got here? Is interesting, and you can see the evolution. You can play all the sound bites from the days after when you heard Republicans blaming Donald Trump, some being short of saying he should be impeached, saying he should be held accountable. And 4 years later, we are here. It is a stunning political comeback attributed to how Trump played it afterward, how Democrats played it afterward, or something else?
Well, I think it's some mixture of everything. But to me, the big message is that in the United States, the people decide. And because of the disastrous 4 years that came after Donald Trump, the people decided to return Donald Trump to power. And that's fundamentally what happened. They looked at what happened on January the 6th. They looked at all the things Democrats claimed about Donald Trump. And they also analyzed every single decision that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made. And they delivered Donald Trump a convincing victory 4 years later.
It is tough, though, Scott, because when you say the people decide, that's what people tried to make sure didn't happen on January 6th, was allowing the people to decide.
The machinery turned. It was a terrible...
The lack of acknowledgement of how bad it was in the aftermath.
I mean, I think a great many people have acknowledged it, but also what happened that day. The machinery turned. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden became the president. He had one of the worst terms of any U.S. president, and then the people scrambled back to Donald Trump. That is the history.
It's pretty easy to see that, but of course the libnuts don't want to see it. That again, as I was talking during the initial show, the certification, they can't wrap their arms around it. They don't understand how the nation completely shifted. If you believe what happened in November of 19 or whatever, yeah. If you believe that Dementia Joe actually won, then I can understand why you're shocked about November 5th, 2024. It must be just an unbelievable shock to realize everything flipped. Because you bought into something else that you shouldn't have bought into. Maybe you should sit down and go, you know what? Maybe, I can't say it, but maybe what happened had already happened. If you catch my drift, and I'm being careful here. You see, the only people shocked are the people who bought into the BS. The rest of us are like, it happened before, it's going to happen again. We knew it was coming. We're not surprised. We just had to make it too big to rig. You just couldn't, do the rig part. So the media, either faking it, or, trying to pretend like they can't believe that Trump won. Why don't you believe it? He already did.
9.
Understand the narratives that are being put up and put out in front of the country. You've got to have a counterpoint. You've got to be in that conversation to call BS on it. This whole thing has been about projection. The very thing that these MAGA Republicans whine about happening to them are the things they're doing.
See, one of the things the media is going to have to realize, there's no such thing as a MAGA Republican. See, that's a term and a label that you are trying to put on us. None of us are wearing a t-shirt that says MAGA Republican. You're going to have to, as a voter, resist that. Because at this point, it is Trump's party. It is MAGA. It is not a MAGA/Republican. It's basically a different movement altogether. It is MAGA. This is what Trump created. This is what people voted for. Stop trying to merge it. Because the rhinos like Adam Kissinger and Liz Cheney and some of these other nuts, they're the ones who are looking into the snow globe, shaking it, and want it to be the way it used to be when you guys were the Washington Generals and the Harlem Globetrotters just ran around you on the court. Especially this nut job here, Michael Steele. They want it to be like it used to be, where they got paid a whole bunch of money to be losers. And so they want to attach MAGA and call them MAGA Republicans when we just want to be MAGA.
And the things they want to do. When they talk about election fraud, who's been arrested? Go back and look at the cases of people who've been arrested. They've been Democrats, they've been Republicans who've engaged in that behavior. So I think that's going to be a big part of the story now, is trying to put a light on something that should have been shown to public a long time ago before these narratives set in.
It's going to be a big story for who? So thank you for letting us know where you guys were going to go for the next 4 years, saying that you all should have been in jail. That's going to be the story moving forward. We're not going back there, Bo. We're going to keep moving forward and make this tent even bigger. Y'all can waste your time trying to make us all seem like criminals. I ain't going there.
Number 8.
I want to play you a little bit of something you said last year. Take a look.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, sometimes several times in a week, or usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
Leader Schumer, what do you say to Americans who feel as though you and other top Democrats misled them about President Biden's mental acuity?
Look, we didn't. And let's look at President Biden. He's had an amazing record. The legislation we passed, one of the most significant groups of legislation since Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, putting in 235 judges, a record, and he's a patriot. He's a great guy. And when he stepped down, he did it on his own because he thought it was better not only for the Democratic Party, for America. We should all salute him. We should all salute him.
Do you feel, as we have this conversation today, that President Biden could serve another 4 years had he stayed in the race and potentially won?
Well, I'm not going to speculate. As I said, I think his record is a stellar one, and he'll go down in history as a really outstanding president.
Put up another list or reason why I think the Democrats will never, or not in the very near future, win a race. If you can't admit you need to lose weight, if you can't admit you got a drug problem, if you can't admit you have a drinking problem, if you can't admit you have a political party problem, you're not going to fix it. You're going to just keep deluding yourself thinking everything's okay.
Number 7.
Now, we share the view that there has to be a centralized telework policy.
Okay, in case you guys don't know, which I don't expect you to know, this is Muriel Bowser. She is the mayor of D.C. Just remember that as you're listening to her. This is the mayor of D.C., who is now embracing the Trump policy.
I don't think that the federal workforce has been served well by each agency doing their own thing when it comes to in-person work. And I don't think it's been served well by having buildings that are sitting virtually empty. So we're going to be able to attract a great workforce, have, the esprit de corps that helps us do big things in our nation. I think we need to reestablish that.
Numbers.
So, the Democrat mayor of D.C. comes out and embraces Trump and Doge policy of bring your butts back to the office. You see, as the mayor of a city, especially something like D.C., I would want people back in the office. You see, the problem MSNBC has is they haven't done their homework and understand what D.C. is going through. You see, there's restaurants, there's stores, all kinds of retail establishments, parking garages, all kinds of stuff in D.C. Tourists. And then all of a sudden, there's nobody going to work, and all the office buildings are empty. There's nobody coming out at noon and going to the restaurants for lunch. She knows that the vibrancy of her city, as she called it, the esprit, the vibrancy of Washington, D.C. is going to be dependent upon bodies actually being in D.C. It's simple economics. These people in these studios are so in the tank for policy for the Democrats, they can't even step back and go, this would be better for the city if people actually were here shopping, eating, doing things. And as a mayor, I will give Muriel Bowser credit because she recognized, that's a good idea. Bring these people back in here. Do whatever you need to do. Put their butts back behind desks in the office. Because all of a sudden, tens of thousands of people are now going to be tens of thousands of people with money. So don't forget about that. These are people working in government cush jobs. And she's thinking to herself, tens of thousands of people who got some ducats are going to have to come back to Washington, D.C. And all those people are going to have to spend their money in the city. That's actually a smart thing for her to come out and say. Hey, Trump, bring them. Bring them. I love you for it, bro. I'm sorry I didn't get the National Guard and stuff for you, but I'm all in on this one. I need the money. Money changes things. I think Cyndi Lauper said that.
6.
Armenia. Who would have thought? There you go saying, if we had been told that the owner of one of the largest social networks in the world would support a new international reactionary movement and directly intervene in elections, including in Germany, who would have imagined it? This is the world in which we live and in which we are going to do diplomacy.
Number.
What do you think Twitter did before Elon Musk bought it? Pretty sure if you ask Matt Taibbi and some of the guys who did the Twitter files, there was all kinds of interference being done by Zuckerberg, the people here on YouTube. That was okay though. That was okay because they were doing what you wanted them to do. Now you're taking shots at Elon Musk because he's letting people in France, the French, talk. They're able to discuss what the hell's going on in their country. Elon Musk, of course, has been doing this all over the world, per se. Check this out. So it says, breaking, Macron accuses Elon Musk of election interference. Who would have thought if we had been told that the owner of one of the largest social networks in the world, you just saw the video, would support the new international reactionary movement? Didn't know that's what it was called. The new international reactionary movement. You mean people talking and intervene directly in elections. If you mean intervene, allow people to talk, I guess you could say that. I guess that happened in America. You intervene by allowing people to discuss. Ooh, bad. We don't want people discussing things. And Elon says, oh, like that Starmer guy called Donald Trump a racist and said the British government should do everything to stop him. Or when Starmer sent British Labour Party members to campaign in the U.S. against Trump this past year. They ain't ready for this. You just saw Justin Trudeau go down. You just saw Justin Trudeau decide to resign. I bet you that we are probably just a little bit away from the same thing happening to other world leaders, namely France. They cannot govern the way they've become accustomed to because the people now can see what's going on. The UK, big trouble. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight when we talk to Tim Ballard. Can't really discuss that in this forum, but you know some of the stuff that's been going on in England, haven't you? With those gangs? Yeah.
5.
I think we need to find moral clarity, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. And then you started seeing people backtrack that and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need.
This woman's talking about moral clarity, and you just compared January 6th to the Holocaust. Speaking of clarity, you need to go look in the mirror. Because I'm pretty sure somewhere on that set, somewhere very close to you within arm reach, there is probably a Jewish person. Maybe, Joy Behar. And you just compared one of the global atrocities of all time to January 6th. And you're telling other people they need to have some clarity. Whew. Wow. How is this show still on the air? How is Disney even allowing this? How is anyone even advertising on this? You have to understand how many people in the entertainment industry would be completely freaked out if somebody said that elsewhere. But on The View, you can compare the Holocaust to January 6th. I don't even know how those words come out of her mouth in the same sentence.
To never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race. I want to ask you.
Maybe by the time I do my nighttime show or do tomorrow, maybe there will be a retraction. One of those legal notes she has to read when she screws up, because that may have been one of the biggest screw-ups ever on The View. I felt embarrassed for her listening to it. For you to compare those two things means you're completely an idiot. There's no gray area. You compared the mass atrocity of World War II to January 6th. That's a special kind of stupid.
4.
This woke mind virus run amok. So January 20th, I think, gives the country an opportunity with President Trump coming back in to clean house, to get these institutions focused on the mission that they were created to do and actually do the work of protecting the American people. But we are in a big hole right now. I think these last 4 years have been about as bad of a period of presidential lack of leadership that we have in my lifetime. And I was born at the end of Jimmy Carter's term, and I would say Biden has done a lot worse than President Carter.
I think history is going to write that. Even though Chuck Schumer tried to say that Biden is one of the best ever, If you were the best, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. You would be telling people you can't have gas water heaters. You wouldn't be telling the incoming president you're not allowed to drill on any of the coast of the country. The measure, if that were to stand, the measurement in history would be he would basically be worse than Jimmy Carter. It's atrocious. You are actually working against the best interest of the American people.
Number 3.
I've been told that it's going to be shock and awe as far as executive orders and all the lists of things that are going to happen on January 20th, and that they're going to throw a lot in the first day and maybe a couple of days that will have to be digested, but it's action that's happening right away before Congress gets its act in gear and passes whatever it passes.
Well, you know, keeping up with the incoming president, we'll just be up all night long on Inauguration night. Just stay up for the
number.
And I personally look forward to that. So here's what I'm hoping happens during the inauguration. We do our inauguration broadcast. Trump puts his hand on the Bible, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm in. And then he goes, no party. No, right now I got work to do. And I hope he broadcasts live from the Oval Office. And he brings out that stack of pens, and there's a bunch of paper sitting right here, and he's like, I'm going to work out my fingers because I'm about to sign some stuff right now. You don't even know. Bam, 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 and just goes nuts. We need that right away. If he told Brett Baer shock and awe is coming, I would tend to believe him. We're going to see some stuff. Can't wait.
2.
Issue pardons for the January 6th committee members, including yourself?
No, I don't want it. Look, here's the
You
thing.
don't want it?
No, because the second a pardon is issued, and look, I understand the theory behind it, because Donald Trump has clearly said he's going to go after everybody. And it's not going to be for the January 6th investigation. What they'll do is they'll weaponize other investigations. They'll look into everything and start an investigation that'll end up coming to naught, force people to pay money. This happened to Brad.
Isn't he describing what they did? Are these people that obtuse that they don't realize that is specifically what they did? Ask Rudy Giuliani.
Raffensperger in Georgia, as he was forced to defend himself. But the second you take a pardon, it looks like you're guilty of something. I'm guilty of nothing besides bringing the truth to the American people and in the process embarrassing Donald Trump, because for 187 minutes he sat there and did absolutely nothing and showed how weak and scared he truly was. So no, I don't want it. And you know, the bottom line is, I mean, if he wants to bring up January 6th again, we've had all this talk about how we're moving on from January 6th, and trust me, Anderson, I would love to. Like, my life has been defined by this for 4 years, but if he wants to bring it back, I will be happily talking about everything the committee did and learned and re-embarrassed.
What some people may not realize is you're saying you don't want a pardon. Fighting whatever might come your way can cost you and your family, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, you think about it, like, and this happened with...
He's talking big right now, but remember, he's the one that was crying. He said Trump is weak, afraid. Adam was the one that was crying, sucked up to Liz Cheney. I have no patience for this guy. I hope he gets bankrupted. I hope everything that happened to Rudy Giuliani happens to Adam Kinzinger. If you got nothing to hide, so be it. Watch what happens, though. Watch what happens when it's actually pardon time. When Biden's out there handing them out. Is he going to say no? Remember this video. Remember this video 2 weeks from now. About, the 19th at about 7 p.m. when Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson all get their pardons. Remember, you just heard him say, if I didn't do anything wrong, I don't need one. I'm going to hold on to that, Adam. I'm going to wait until you accept your pardon, because I think you're slime, and I think you're going to have a pardon, because he'll bankrupt you. Not because you didn't do anything wrong, but because you did.
Number 1.
And let's bring in my panel. And, it's really difficult to think about the majesty of this day without reflecting upon what happened 4 years ago. Jeff talked about whitewashing. I want to run a little clip from 4 years ago, which really required no great prescience.
Talk about prescience. Talk about some self-promotion. So Jake Tapper is going to go run a clip of himself from from 4 years ago.
By me, but it was ongoing when it was very easy to predict. If we can run that clip, this is 4 years ago. I want people to remember how they feel watching these images of the United States Capitol.
He's saying he wants people to remember the atrocity. Meanwhile, as he's talking, I'm looking at two women on the screen just walking around. One of them's got a cell phone. The other one's hanging out.
Capitol being taken over, and these clear acts of sedition and violence and terrorism by Trump supporters, because there's going to be an attempt to whitewash and pretend this didn't happen. There's going to be an attempt to whitewash and pretend this didn't happen, and in fact, there was. And for millions of Americans, it worked.
It was very successful. I think anyone would argue if you're a critic of Trump's or if you're a fan of his. And I was thinking, as you look at the contrast of 4 years ago and today, it really could not be clearer, especially in how Trump himself and those around him view it.
Again, the media, or lack thereof, I guess is what we can call them. It's disgusting. Jake Crappers. Wait till they start peeling the onion peels back on these people. That's what they're afraid of. They're all going to go down. I don't know when. Kash Patel is going to be very busy, and they're going to try and hold him off as long as possible, him and Pam Bondi. Who knows? They may not even get approved until, I don't know, April or May. And in that period of time, who knows what they'll end up going to do. And that's wonderful because it's got everything to do with the 2020 election results. Jake Tapper is a liar, a disgusting grace of a boy paid to lie for the DNC. We'll let him know today we're sick of his madness. So, Dylan Mulvaney in a green dress. Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh. Bottom line is, today's a win. Any way you shake it, today's a win. I love it that these people are freaking out. I love it that they're worried about what's going to happen to them. That alone is enough to just sit on their shoulders and make them wonder when the knock on the door is coming. Because they know it's coming, and they're trying to basically use the media to let people know they're coming attacking me. They're going to come after me. When you did something, there's going to be so much. Kissinger says he wants to talk about it. Really? You mean, how about I'm not even going to go into it here. But when this all turns around, I don't think Kash Patel is going to be worried about the January 6th committee as much as they think. Because I think Biden's going to try to pardon all these people. There's going to be enough stuff out there to begin looking at these people. You need to find out how all these people made money. Look at their taxes. That's how you took down Capone. All you had to do is look where the money came, where it went. How did it get there? Who put it there? What was it for? All you need is that little bit of information as to why it should be looked at. The fact that Merrick Garland wouldn't even look, but instead wanted to throw grandmothers in jail for walking around the Capitol. One thing we've learned over the last 4 years is that this government, the United States government, if used wrongly, can put very, very innocent people in jail for a long time. So you know what it can do to people who have done stuff. If you've been a bad boy, Adam, you deserve everything coming your way. And it won't be because you walked around the Capitol with a horn hat or kicked up your feet on someone's desk. You're not going to have to manufacture those kind of cases. But every other aspect of your life, you better make sure it's buttoned up. You better make sure. That's what's coming. Not some little thing where you get a pardon for. You say, the other thing with these pardons is that Biden is probably going to try and make them blanket like he did with Hunter. Remember with Hunter, it wasn't a pardon for X, Y, or Z. We won't see pardons for a January 6th committee. You're going to see pardons that say something to the effect of anything and everything you did since 2019 and cover everything these people have done. That's what's coming. That's definitely what's coming. So what's coming here tonight at 7:30, I've got the interview with Tim Ballard. You don't want to miss it. And we're also going to give away 3 hoodies. The hoodie link is working. I checked it myself. If you want to enter to win one, go to fanfareshop.org. And all you got to do is put your name in. And if you'd like to join our private group on X, just go to fanfareshop.org/group. We're rapidly approaching 13,000 people. Pretty psyched about that. 13,000 people. And just to let you know, starting tomorrow, the newsletter is going to be coming out. So if you've registered to win a hoodie and we have your email address or whatever, we're going to start a newsletter so that you can be kept abreast of every video that we put out. I'm going to begin doing some private videos that I may not post because of where I have to post it. You may have missed some, like the Band on YouTube series with Zach Apotheker and John Amanchaku and some other people. So we're going to start that probably tomorrow or by Friday for sure. And then tomorrow we're going to do 2 shows, 3 and 7, unless of course news break or Trump ends up doing a presser. But I'd like you to join me tonight at 7:30 so we can pray first too. I mean it's tough. It's rough. All right, let me do some super chats. Peter Urich. Pelosi concocted it, the FBI orchestrated, and the complicit media sold it. You got to tell your friends what's coming. Grandma Lynn, today is a glorious day. Thank you, Brother Barry, for your excellent coverage, for your moderators as well. Thank you very much. And the moderators have to do a yeoman's job because there are so many trolls out there. So many. Trey Reed, Barry, you're hearing people talking about a strange fog, or is that taboo? Robin and I talked about it the entire way. I'm going to do more research on it on our entire drive back. Tim McCurry, we have to remain vigilant even after January 20th. Yes, please do. Tommy, I got your guitar video. I'm going to play it tonight. This transfer is 10 times more sinister than January 6th in 2020. They are trying to undermine Trump's MAGA agenda. Not just Trump's MAGA agenda. They're hurting all Americans, even their own followers. Even their own voters are going to be hurt by what Biden's trying to do. Anne Marie, Barry, thank you very much for bringing us the truth. God bless you. Thank you. Donna, how are you? I think Trump should have his inauguration at an undisclosed location with only one reporter of his choosing and televise it. I'd be okay with that, but he's not going to do it because he's going to let people know I ain't afraid. Sandra J.G. Thompson, what is the punishment for treason in the U.S.? The old days, you'd be swinging. But I don't know what they would do if it's in Washington, D.C. Probably just feed you bread and water. Tim McCurry, November 5th, Americans voted to drill, baby, drill. Yep, exactly. And so by not allowing people to drill, he's hurting all Americans. And then telling people you can't have a gas water heater in the winter. Trisha Whistler, thank you for bringing us news and your explanation of things for everything else. Thank you very much for watching. Ken Hollis, how did we go from Bush 41 giving the POMF to to Biden giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to crooked Hillary and loony Liz Cheney? You forgot Soros. Donna, I like what you said here. No time to rest on our laurels. The fight has only begun. Absolutely. Ashley Bryant, thank you. Random question. Why haven't we seen or heard from JD? I see everyone else. Elon, Charlie Homan, but not JD. Maybe it's just the algorithm. Well, if you saw today, he was at the certification. He was front and center during that certification. Nancy Jennings, please explain how Canada can become part of the United States. What would be the steps? I don't know. See, I'm not one of those guys who makes stuff up and tries to sound smart, because I think if you make stuff up and try to sound smart, you end up looking stupid. I don't know how a country can become a state. Maybe it would just become a territory. I don't know. But obviously Trump has figured out he wants to try something, because he wants to do it with 2 countries. He wants to buy Greenland And then, of course, he's saying expand and take on Canada. It's crazy. Thank you, KRO. The current landmass of the United States is not big enough for MAGA. Of course we have to expand. Yeah, really. Up north. Johanna Coberline, the map of the United States is going to look a lot different. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's thinking. Tommy Radcliffe, Barry, I have a rocking new guitar solo video with the new Trump music for a new opening. If you like it, and a new release tonight on YouTube. Okay. I'll check it out for sure. I saw one where you were singing, so maybe that was the one. Blade Nicotera, as a Dolphins fan, I discovered you around this time last year from your Dolphins podcast. Congratulations on all your success within a year. Remember, I told all the Dolphins. I told them last year they got pissed off at me. I said Tua's not it. Mike McDaniel's not it. Chris Greer's not it. People got pissed off. Now guess what? Now they're all pissed off at those same people. Big Cat. Barry, you're back. Hello. Yes, I am back. Limping with the throat. Oops, who's that? Sorry about that. Fume Drummer. Canada as a state would bring 2 more Democrat senators in, just like making D.C. a state. Be careful what you wish for. Quebec would never go along with it. What would Quebec do? Secede? I don't know. Plant the flag. Oh, my phone's dying. Rodney Lee. Rodney Lee, thank you very much. Nathan Fleming, Barry, the reason Trudeau is willing to step down is because he only has to wait until April to get his full pension from the Parliament. Weasel in, weasel out. Janine Horton, thank you for reporting. Barry, get better soon. Just let you know, I'm feeling fine. It's just that the cold has gone from the head cold to stomach to face to sitting right here. But I'm doing good. But thank you. And Tommy, Happy New Year to Barry and your family. Will the Supreme Court step in this case against Trump in New York? They already did. The Supreme Court has already basically stepped in. And Judge Merchan is trying to push it through like he wants to. So I'm not sure what he's thinking he's doing. That's absolutely nuts. They just all they want to do is just pin it on him that he's a felon. Born on the 4th. Happy New Year from a fellow Connecticut native who now lives in Florida. I enjoy your shows. Blessings to you and your ears. From Valerie. Hi, Valerie. Nice to hear from you. Yeah, I'm a Connecticut refugee for sure. F. Joe Biden. What, was George Soros too scared to enter the country? I can't even answer that. I don't even know why he gave these people. Maybe that's why he sent his son, or maybe the dude's already gone. Who knows? Maybe he's toast. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to the 3:30. One more to go, and you're gonna. Well, I hate saying this. You're gonna love the interview, but it's probably gonna piss you off. So check it out on Rumble and on X tonight at 7:30. Talk to you soon.